Hey everyone, Tyson the Subaru specialist from Subaru at Prince George here. This is our 2022 Subaru Forester Wilderness in the Crystal White Pearl. So the Wilderness, brand new trim level for 2022. It's more oriented to going off the beaten path. Subarus are very capable. This just takes it to the next level. Aesthetically, you get more cladding and you have an increased ground clearance with the Wilderness. You've got that extra cladding around the wheel wells, along the bottom there, even the front and rear bumpers. Now, the primary purpose of it is less painted area, less areas to get marked up. But secondary, I really like the aesthetic of it. And on a white vehicle, it's less so a white vehicle and more a black and white vehicle. And that's at least how I feel about it. Now, I get asked about this strip on the hood quite a bit. What's the purpose of it? What can we do with it? Why is it there? This is designed to reduce glare for the driver when you're ascending a steep trail, even heading up a rather steep highway, freeway pass. Depending upon the angle of the sun, sometimes you do get glare off the hood. That's designed to reduce that. So better visibility for the driver. Now, the front here, you do end up with a bunch more of that black plastic cladding that you see on more and more Subaru vehicles. And the bottom areas of the vehicles, typically the area that's going to get beat up. We do have the Gatling gun style 6 LED fog lights in both sides, and I really like how they look. Before the end of the video, I will turn them on and I will show you guys what those look like. But yeah, I do really like the look of this. Now, this one is going home with a customer in the next 24 hours or so. So the new owner opted to get splash guards installed, as well as a couple other things that I will point out. But since we're down here, you do get the 17-inch exclusive Wilderness wheels on the Wilderness models, and they're always wrapped in the Geolander AT tires. So it's an all-terrain. It does have the 3-peak mountain snowflake. It is winter rated, and it is an aggressive tire. But they went for a balance of function and comfort. So it's not the most aggressive tire that you'll find on a vehicle from factory, but it's definitely capable. Now, we do have these anodized copper accents. So that's on the roof rails, on the word Forester at the bottom. And you're only gonna find that on the Wilderness trims, whether that's Forester or Outback. Now, they've added this centerpiece to these. Normally the Foresters don't have that third tie down. And the reason they have the holes in them so you can use them as tie downs. So you can get the crossbars for them. Lots of people are putting rooftop tents on them. They're putting larger loads on the roof rack. That's why they did the extra support and the extra tie down, because it's a lot easier to secure things when you have more options. Now at the back here, in the rear bumper, you do have the backup sensors. They will actually apply the brakes if it thinks you're gonna hit something in reverse between speeds of 1 and 15 kilometers an hour. Now that's something you can remove, or turn off, I should say, or disable. So if you're off the beaten path, you don't want it accidentally picking up a blade of grass or something like that. So you can disable that, and I will show you that. With the Wilderness, of course, you get your Wilderness badging. And then, of course, the badging is also black or dark gray, gunmetallic, depending what you want to call it. New owner also installed a bumper step pad. So loading things in and out, you will not scratch up your paint. Oh, and actually, before I open that all the way, this is different. So you end up with this same material, the cladding around the back. And I think it really pops on the white. On the dark gray, the black, obviously it doesn't make as big of an impact, but I think it's actually pretty cool. So you can stop it in the middle. You can do it from the key fob, the door, or the driver's seat. Now we do have an LED cargo light. It's set to door. Don't know if you can see it. There is a little word door there. So that this light will shut off when the door closes. We also have a little hook. I don't know what you'd hang from it, your jacket or whatnot, when you're taking your gear off, when you're loading things up, unloading. In the back, cargo tray. You do have a lip around it. It will contain some fluids, garbage bag, whatnot. Privacy cover hides everything from the top of the seats down. Now this, really easy to remove. It's just a telescopic piece, and it actually tucks underneath the false floor here. You can kind of see where it's meant to go. And you do get a matching full-size spare tire on a matching rim. So you could do a 5-tire rotation with a Wilderness. All of your spare tire equipment's there. We have grocery bag hooks. We have the ability to fold seats flat. Of course, that would go flat if that front passenger seat wasn't so far reclined. There we go. And then we have a 12-volt power point for any charging needs. Now, despite kind of having a rubberized back to the seats, the new owner did opt to get the seat back protectors installed. So it's essentially a continuous layer of protection in the Forester. So when you have the seat folded flat for cargo, or you've got pets, it's a continuous layer. Now, it's held on by Velcro. There's a head strap, and then it just Velcros at the bottom here. But underneath, and I don't know if it's kind of a similar material to what the seats are. Same pattern, see it here? So it is durable, but they went the extra step to protect their investment. Now, the seating material, this is the StarTech. So soft touch all-weather upholstery is what it's listed as in the Subaru Canada brochure, but in the States they call it StarTech, and that's a Subaru-made product. You've got the copper or goldy stitching. It contrasts nicely. And this is a gray-black kind of two-tone. I don't know if the camera's really picking that up, but in the back, we have not heated seats, sorry. 2 USB ports. These switches are where the heated seats would be installed in the Limited and the Premier models. Vents out of the center console. They come with the fitted floor mats from factory. We've got Wilderness tag there, Wilderness tag here, more copper goldy stitching, and this is still that same soft touch material. And then we get more this interior plastic is molded kind of the same as the exterior plastic, the cladding. So they're keeping the theme really, really well with this. Again, more Wilderness badging, more contrast stitching, power windows, locks, mirrors as you'd expect. We do have a power driver seat, including lumbar support, and it's got this nice hexagon material, hexagonal, and it is really, really comfy. These bolsters aren't super hard, but they will hold you in when you're cornering tightly. We've got Subaru Wilderness on both the front driver and passenger headrests. Now, as you can see, goldy copper, anodized copper everywhere. So when we hop in here on the steering wheel, this is, I don't notice this when I'm driving, but it is nice. I like this. It's push button start, of course. This is a little bit less in your face than the Crosstrek Outdoor with the yellow. So this is a little bit more muted. Again, more copper stitching. So down here we have the hatch opening, steering responsive headlights. You can turn off the steering responsive headlights if you don't like the headlights turning when you do. You can set the memory height for the tailgate. So if you don't like it opening all the way, you can program it to open halfway, 3/4 of the way. You've got choices. Brightness for the gauges, traction control, auto start, stop, and blind spot detection. So when I turn off blind spot detection and turn it back on, that's what it looks like on the correct side when someone is in your blind spot or going to be momentarily. Looking at the gauges, we have the Wilderness gauges. They're circled in that copper. It's a nice looking color. They're easy on the eyes. They're not super bright, not obnoxious. Left-hand side, we have our Bluetooth and audio controls. You can make them take calls, control the volume of the calls and the music. These arrows down here will change the center display, fuel economy, whatnot. I personally like the digital speedometer. Right-hand side here, we have our adaptive cruise. So the cruise that follows at a set distance, and you get to choose 1 to 4 bars. 4 bars is the max, and at 100 kilometers an hour, that's approximately 150 to 180 feet behind the vehicle ahead of you. It's perfect for up here in the north for distance. We also have lane centering, which is this one right here. So above 60 kilometers an hour, if the EyeSight cameras, and this is the most up-to-date EyeSight system. I think they call it EyeSight 4.0. So wider field of view, more reactive, better overall. And you can't accidentally touch the cameras because they've enclosed them a little bit better against the glass. But if they can see the road lines, the corresponding road line, whichever side it can see, will illuminate white, and it will actually give you gentle steering input to keep you in the middle of your lane. Great for long distance driving, second half of your road trip. I really enjoy it. I don't recommend it around town. Heated steering wheel. And then I always get asked about SI drive. So I is intelligent. That's what it'll default to. Down here, bottom left, it says P for park. Right to the right of that, it says I for intelligent. Now, when I press the Sport Sharp button, that line gets a little steeper, more aggressive. That's your torque curve. you accelerate more aggressively. And this is already a fairly aggressive accelerating vehicle with the change to the gear ratio. It's not a rocket ship by any means, but you do get going fairly quickly, and that Sport Sharp's going to help. As you move up here, we've got this information screen that you can cycle through. There's an info button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. It gives you a bunch of different information that you need or may want while driving. I personally like the water temp, oil temp one myself. And it's also where climate control displays. So it ranges from 15 on the low side all the way up to 30. Freezing to tropical depending how you and your passengers like it. 7 degrees out right now, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. But it's easy to adjust. You still have physical controls, but it displays up top, so you don't have to take your eyes that far off the road when you're adjusting. Nice 8-inch display. We still have the plastic on it. The detailers leave it on. They know lots of people like to take it off themselves. That's kind of their sign of ownership. Feels good. But this is all touchscreen, or we have the physical buttons down here. But hit phone, nothing's connected. It's going to ask. I don't want to do that right now. We've got apps with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We still offer a CD player. Lots of companies don't. And then when I put it in reverse, backup camera comes up. That's the rear assist braking I was talking about. That's the parking sensors. Now if I want to turn that off, press and hold. Simple. And when I go back to drive, goes off, put it back in reverse, it's back on. And you can see that little green box. That's letting you know that you're still a good distance away from that wall. It'll get yellow and then orange and then red when you're as close as you want to get. Down here is where we adjust our climate controls. Driver side temp, passenger side temp. It's synced together. Fan strength. AC's on because it's damp out. It's been raining. So it's moving moisture around so you don't fog up. Automatic transmission. Again, copper accents. We've got our X mode. So kind of like 4x4 low in a pickup. So when I twist it left, we've got snow and mud mode. And when I twist it to the right, deep snow and mud. And it turns off the traction control to allow for excess wheel spin. Really, really cool system. I've taken my Crosstrek places it does not belong, and I don't have the dual function. I just have the single function X mode because I don't have an outdoor Crosstrek. And it only works up to 40 kilometers an hour. If you exceed it, it just kicks out. Can't wreck it. If you're driving down the road at 100k an hour and someone twists it, nothing bad's going to happen. It's going to beep at you and say, hey, I can't do that. View is for the front camera. Almost 180 degrees. You can use it in parking lots, on trails. If you're getting close to a parking barricade, you want to see exactly how far away you are. And I don't know if you can make it out in the camera. There is a little red dotted line, and that's about as close as you want to get while you're without hitting it. It's kind of your benchmark. And then press it, turns off. We've got heated seats, high and low for both the driver and passenger. Park brakes are now electronic in most vehicles. Pull up to turn it on, foot on the brake, push down to turn it off. Up here, we've got the auto dimming mirror. This is my favorite feature ever. There's no switch to flick. It just automatically dims if someone's got their high beams on behind you. Your side mirrors are also the same. They're auto dimming, which is absolutely amazing. We do also have the Homelink system here. I don't know the camera will focus, but you can hook up to 3 separate garage doors to your mirror. You don't have to carry a bulky opener with you. Up top, we have our SOS and our roadside, and that is part of the 3-year trial of the connected services you get with most new Subarus. We've got our lane sway and our automatic emergency braking, and that's part of the eyesight system. And in BC, the automatic emergency braking will actually save you 10% on your basic insurance. We have our sunroof controls, and it is a giant panoramic. It's larger. I wouldn't say it's a full panoramic, but it's quite a large sliding sunroof. So that's a brief overview of the 2022 Subaru Forester Wilderness. I'm Tyson, the Subaru specialist from Subaru Prince George. I'll talk to you guys soon. And actually, before I sign off, I'm going to show you guys what those fog lights look like. As I mentioned, I would. So I quite like the look of it. It's not quite as striking in the daylight, but it's a good looking fog light setup. Yeah, I'll leave you guys with that.